welcome to this week's Rebel Run Sports Show. I'm John Moore, joined as always by Rob G. and Papa. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, everybody. And it's always a Merry Christmas with the Oakton girls basketball team.
You could say that, man. You could say that.
Pretty good.
Yeah, well, I went down there and checked them out playing Broad Run last week. They had we talked about it on last week's show. They had the game against Potomac Falls, and it was 14-14 in the first half, and then they blew out Potomac Falls in the second half. Well, I found out a little more about that game. There was a reason why it was 14-14. So Coach Priester didn't like the way they were playing in the first half of that game, so he pulled the starters after about 5 minutes into the game.
That makes sense.
Didn't let them play the rest of the first half.
That's toying with the other team.
When you got it good, you got it good.
Got it good.
So he pulls them out. They didn't play the rest of that first half. Well, apparently that sparked them going into this game.
Yeah.
They came out relentless in the first quarter. It was 30-5 after the first quarter. 30-5.
That's when they start the running clock, isn't it?
They could have started about the first 2 minutes of this game, but Maddie Royal was on fire. She hit 4 threes, a couple more from the outside. I mean, she was just putting on like a shooting display. She had a couple of blocks early on, rebounding the ball well. I mean, she was tremendous.
She's a star.
That's why I said I wear the jersey.
We gotta wait till the after holiday.
You're right about that. You're right about that. But during that game, so he pulls them out in the first quarter of this game too, because they're up 30-5. Brings in the bench to play, which is gonna pay off for them down the line.
Sure.
But Delaney Conley has 14 in the game, gets her 1,000th point.
Very nice.
In school, and in her career.
Not the first time that's happened. We'll talk about
17 1,000-point scorers in Oakton history. 14 of them girls. 14 of 17. That ain't bad.
That ain't bad.
I'm guessing it's probably 14 for 14 playing under Fred Priester. But Kaylin Fee was great too. She came out. She was aggressive on defense. She was aggressive on offense. She finished with 15. That game was 45-9 at half. It didn't get much better. It ended up 73-31.
They're going to have a lot of games like that this year.
They are.
Yeah.
They're actually out in Arizona right now playing in the tournament. So they had to go across the country to get the competition they're looking for. But they were great all game. Like I said, the bench played a large part of that game. He pulled the starters out pretty early in both first and second half. Yeah. And it's valuable experience for that bench. Like I said, that's going to pay off for them later on down the line and moving forward in the years to come. But, all right. The Oakton student section, man.
Good or bad?
Terrible again.
Oh.
I don't understand. I know it's around the holidays. No excuse. When you have a team like that,
everyone should be out.
Everybody should be there. The guys were playing at Broad Run. They're playing in Loudoun County. You ain't going out there to see them play. So what are you doing?
Have the guys' team to go watch the girls play.
Basically.
Even when they have a game going on.
Basically. Now, I'm not no slight on the guys right now because they're doing pretty well right now too. But historically, let's face it, the girls are they're great all the time. Yeah, man. There should be a lot more people out there watching it. And when I get to the next game, I'm going to have a lot more of that to say as well. So it's not just Oakton. I'm not just singling out Oakton, although I was there, and that's twice in a row that I've been there and that's happened. But y'all need to get out there and watch them.
Have to.
Got to.
There's no excuse for that.
No.
Too good.
They are.
Question.
What's that?
Maddie Royal versus Steve the photographer.
Come on.
Oh, it's not even close. It's not even close.
Yeah, because Steve the photographer would win, right?
Oh, Steve.
Crazy.
I'm gonna tell you what.
Wait.
I take Delaney Conley against Steve. I take Maddie Royal against Steve. And man, Kaylin Fee's a lot smaller, but she's a lot more in shape than you.
Oakton keeps on winning.
They do.
So another team that's winning is the Champs boys basketball team.
Yeah.
And I went out to the game against Manassas Park. It was the night that Dominic Fergala scored his 1,000th point. Congratulations, Dom.
Good week for.
What a week this kid's having.
You could say that.
65, 52, and then he followed that one up with 38 in this game where he probably could have scored 100 if he wanted to, but they won by 50 points. Let me talk about a couple things here.
All right.
Manassas Park boys basketball team. That was a poor performance. You may not be the most talented. That was a poor performance. And it wasn't that they don't have talented kids, because they do. Because if you watch the warm-ups, you were like, well, this is going to be a game right here.
Right.
The game was never close. Again, it started off, Fergala needed 8 points to get to 1,000, got that. Classy move by Champ. They stopped the game for a quick little ceremony. Nothing over extravagant, but, to acknowledge the accomplishment. And that was pretty cool. But man, I can't put my finger on Champ yet, because I went to the first game and they lost to Hanley at the buzzer. Good team. But, there's no doubting the abilities of Fergala, but there's some other guys that are going to need to step up as the competition steps up. So I'll be interested to see that. They got some holiday tournament games coming up, and then once they get in this Loudon, look, everybody knows the elephant in the room is Loudoun Valley High School. So
Yeah, they just went down and won a tournament at Myrtle Beach.
yeah, so that game's going to be looming, but Champ is going to need some other guys to step up outside of Dom Fergala to go further than they did last year.
That's the one thing I'll say is watching them. It's very rare that you see guys looking for their own shot.
Yeah.
As soon as they get the ball, they're looking for him. And
Right. I'm criticizing them for beating a team by 50 points. Manassas Park. But when the competition elevates, they're going to need some other guys on that floor. Fergala is the real deal, though.
world class.
Yeah, real deal.
There were some plays that he had in that game.
He's a highlight film.
I've never seen anybody split a double team.
Did you see that?
Split a double team, backing into them and going between his legs.
I was watching the game and I was rewinding that on my camera.
It's ridiculous, man.
It was ridiculous.
So how that's not the top play of the week everywhere.
Right.
I have no idea, but
It's in the running for this week.
you're absolutely right about that. That I've never seen. That's something I've never seen before. I've never seen back end split a double team.
He had 3 or 4 plays in that game where you were just like, what?
He is a highlight reel.
is a highlight reel.
Yeah.
And he can shoot the ball like, oh man, that foul line extend. Whatever looks like a bad look drops for him. Foul line extended.
I don't know how many and ones he has.
He's got a lot.
If somebody keeps that stat, I would like to see that.
Crazy.
It's insane.
Well, congratulations, Champ 5-1, 3-0 in the conference, but they're going to have some stiff competition coming up.
They are, man. That's gonna be those Loudoun Valley games.
Yeah, can't wait for that.
You know those guys are watching.
Oh, and their fan base is legit. One questionable character, but
that gym gets a little crazy in there. The jungle in Loudoun Valley gets a little crazy, man.
hey, Patriot versus Herndon girls.
Yes. So I wanted to go out. I've gotten a chance to see all of the top echelon teams that we have ranked on our site and on the girls' side. Had to get out to see Herndon. They were the last one I hadn't seen.
Right.
Obviously seen Oakton, seen Woodbridge, seen Hayfield. Had to get out to see Herndon. All right. Herndon jumps out in this game. It's like a 9-0 lead early.
Yeah.
Indy Sanders going to American. She's ridiculous.
American might have a good basketball team next year.
My goodness, man. But I'm gonna tell you what, she's ridiculous. Like she's got athleticism, she's strong, she can shoot, and she could score at will. But she's so unselfish, she sets people up constantly. She was on fire in the beginning. I mean, she had 5 of the first 9 points, and she had a ridiculous pass for an assist. Had 2 more that should have been 2 more assists, but just they couldn't handle it to get it in the bucket. They go up 17-9 after the first quarter, and it's looking like Patriots going to get run out of the gym. They did not look good in that first stretch. Yeah. The first couple minutes of that game, Patriot did not look good. I mean, Indy Sanders, she's stupid good. You know what I'm saying? Like it's amazing. Probably the most unselfish player in the area. Huh. But they also have a player, Devin Newman. I told you I talked to her grandfather last year at a game. Yeah. She's gotten so much better from last year to this year. She's just smart. She knows where to be. She's, you know, a lot of people talk about how the mid-range game is gone in basketball. Sure. You know, she takes those mid-range shots. She makes them. She gets herself in position that, like, she just makes good plays all the time. Right. Her skill level kind of jumps out at you when you watch them. Yeah. But it was not looking good at all for Patriot at the beginning of that game. It was 32-15 going in the half, and you were like, man, this is not going to get any better.
Did it get worse?
No. Huh. Patriot came out swinging. They have a girl, Alyssa Bertrand, who plays point for them. She handles the ball really well. She's really good. I mean, she had 6 points and 4 assists in that game, but it looked more. You know what I'm saying? Because she handled the ball so much, it looked like more. She kind of jumped out at you. From last year to this year, she's gotten a lot better too. Right. But they have a girl, Ava Pell. I'm not kidding. I thought she was going to have a triple-double with blocks. She was blocking everything for a stretch, man. Like, there was a move, Indy Sanders had a move where she caught her. Like, she had a spin where she gets that move all the time. She has a spin in the lane, gets her to bite on it at first, but she recovers to block it. Ava Pell was all over the place. She finished with 18. It says 18, 4 and 4.
Seemed like more.
There was more rebounds than 4. And I'm going to tell you what, she probably had 6 blocks. She was outrageously good. And then Amanda Neck in that game, she was good too. She finished with 16. But Patriot, what are they, 7-2? They're going to be tough. Yeah. They're going to be real tough. They're one of the top teams in the area. They're probably like just out of the top 10, but there's a good chance they're going to be way up there near the end of the season. I think they were missing one of their top players, but they're going to be right up there come the end of the season. But I'm telling you, Ava Pell, she was blocking everything. And she just kind of caught fire late in that game. She was just outworking people, getting to the basket. Man, she was, her and Devin Newman just jumped at you. Indy Sanders is just absurd. But those 2 players on those 2 teams really jumped out at you. But it goes on. Patriot fought back in that game, and they made a game. I think got down to 6 in the fourth quarter. Like, they were making a run. They were going for it. Right. But they just hit a 3 near the end of that game. It really kind of sealed it for them. Herndon goes on to win 57-49. I'm having trouble talking because of how good some of these players were. They were really, it was excellent. But I don't even know if Patriots got a student section. That's how bad it was in that gym. You have 2 of the top teams playing, and there was nobody there to watch that game. There was somebody. I talked to a terrific lady while I was there. Her daughters are assistants at Forest Park. Okay. She was there. A friend of hers is a ref, so she goes to a lot of games. She's just a basketball fan, so she goes to a lot of games. Her and I talked before the game. We were just like swapping stories about different players in the area, different teams. I had a great time talking to her after the game. We went back and forth, just talking about different things that we saw in the game. She's got a great basketball mind. Her daughters, it's no shock that they're both coaches. But. She even said to me at one point, she said, it's terrible that nobody comes to watch these games. More people should be out here. It's downright disrespectful. I see a lot of teachers at football games for teams that are bad. Yeah. Why aren't you out at basketball games for teams that are good?
Great point.
There
should be a teacher section at all these games.
There should be. And, teachers, I'm not saying too much bad about you. You all do a great job.
At least some of the games.
But come on, man.
Home games.
I know that football is like an event, and people go out to the football games, but y'all need to be out at the basketball game.
Yeah, you can come to one basketball game a week, one home game.
You know what I'm saying? And hey, you ain't gotta sit in the cold.
I tell you who we don't have to give that pep talk to. W.T. Woodson.
The cavalry, boy.
Because I went to the W.T. Woodson Stonebridge game, and 15 minutes before the tip-off,
Cavalry's ready to go.
Cavalry's there, 100 deep. We're all wearing ugly Christmas sweaters.
Yeah.
It was a football atmosphere in the student section.
Yep.
The way it should be.
That is the way it should be, man. There's no excuse.
Loud, they were into the game. That's the other thing. Come out to the game, it's only an hour and a half.
Yeah, you get in there, it's nice and toasty inside the gym.
Get your homework done.
Yeah, man, come on.
Cavalry.
Cavalry's great.
They are great. WT was the student section.
If they're not one, they're right there.
If you're combining all the sports that they come out and support, they're right there.
Yeah, because they come, it doesn't matter, football, basketball, girls and guys, lacrosse, girls and guys, the cavalry is right up there.
They represent, they play Stonebridge, okay? So Stonebridge has this kid I want to talk about real fast. His name's Evan Buckley. He's a sophomore. He's a guy who we're going to hear about for, including this year, the next 3 years.
Okay.
Scored 15 points in a losing effort. But this kid has got skills.
Yeah.
I was talking to some of the parents, they were like, oh, watch the little sophomore Buckley. I was like, all right, I'll check him out. I'm here with a camera. And he's legit, he's like little Mark Price on the court.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And like you said, the girl earlier who's unselfish, he runs the point, he's young, shoot that mid-range jump shot, because he can hit it. And he had it open a couple times, he could have knocked it down and elected the pass, trying to get everybody involved. I got no problem with that, but the kid could score 30.
Wait, you would have definitely been okay with it if you were on the court.
Yeah, well, I would have.
Because you would have been screaming for the ball.
I'm open. I'm always open. So the game starts off. Stonebridge takes a 14-8 lead at the end of one. Very competitive. Second quarter, I don't know what the Woodson coach said at the end of the first quarter. He was a little fired up. Yeah. But 16-2 in the second quarter is what they outscored Stonebridge. Now this W.T. Woodson.
That's a lot to a little.
Yeah. Let's talk about another kid, Matthew Urbach. He had 11 points. We talk about all these stars on all these teams. Maybe the star hasn't presented himself on this team yet, but they're balanced, man. They have Jason Agner, 10 points. Simon Mula, Mad Hops, got a dunk on him, 13 points. Brian Pierce, 13 points. Matthew Urbach, 11. Nate Spurlock, 10. So 5 guys in double figures in a high school game usually gets you a victory.
The reason why they keep winning.
Urbach, remember the kid? Who was the kid last year with the hair? Woodson always has a kid with the hair that can ball. This year is Matthew Urbach, because he had a couple little highlight moves of himself. But they ended up winning the game 62-49. They improved to 7-1, 2-0 in the conference, going into their holiday tournaments. Woodson's they got some shooters, but it's just the balance. You watch the game, and there's not one dominant player out there, and they move the ball around real good. They take the open shot when it's there, but this is a well-coached basketball team, so it'll be interesting to see how far Woodson goes this year, but they're off to a good start.
Well, I saw Mula play last year. I like that guy, man. Obviously he's got athleticism.
Yeah. How great is the dunk in high school basketball? Especially when your student section shows up to a game.
Exactly. Remember a couple weeks ago I was talking about Hayfield and Langston Gaither out there, and they were all those guys from Hayfield were out there at the South County game. When you get a dunk in there and your student section goes nuts, it's awesome. The gym goes crazy. It's Woodson student section. Shout out to you guys. The cavalry they're awesome.
Woodson section, you can come and be guests on the show anytime. We'll do one of those live,
Shoot it at Woodson in the gym with them behind us.
Yes.
I bet you they have creative signs too.
they had them at this game. They had the signs at the game. I was like, what's going on in here? Rob, you went out to see Langley and Battlefield guys.
Yes, I did.
Coach Bills, how's he doing?
Coach Bills, well, it was looking rough. They were 4-5 going into that game.
Yeah.
When I looked at the schedule, though, they went and played two private school teams. I think it was Virginia Academy and maybe Millbrook.
Okay.
And then they played Potomac and Wakefield. Now, no shot at Coach Bills, but what were you doing scheduling those games? Yeah, what were you doing scheduling those games early?
Oh, he wanted to teach his kids some humility, possibly.
Hey, it worked.
Yeah.
It worked. But when they lost a game to Garfield, which I think it was just you come out of those 4 games, you're a little down, things will happen.
Right.
4-5 going into that game. Talked about what's in student section?
Yeah.
The one that's going to rival them in the area, Battlefield, man.
Yeah.
Battlefield, they're out for everything. The Den, they get out, they support everything. There's a lot of times they got the big heads on sticks. Those guys, the student section of Battlefield is great. They're probably the only rival that off the top of my head that I can think of for the Cavalry.
Yeah.
And they were out in full force for this game too.
Do they play this year?
That's a good thing.
We gotta look that one up. Yeah. Be there.
Yeah. Langley goes in there, and Langley was 3-2, I think, going into that game. The Den came out. They were fired up. It was kind of slow going early on. I mean, it was 10-9 in the first quarter. Still kind of slow going in the second quarter. It's 24-17. It was 21-17. Braden Galt hits a 3 right before the end of the half. Put them up 24-17.
He's a good baller.
Yeah, you could say that, man. You could say that. Braden Galt is really good.
Yeah.
Man, when he gets in the post, there's nothing you could do. He's got some of the best footwork you'll see in the post.
Yeah.
But he's only a junior.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he's only a junior. He's going to be haunting people.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. Third quarter starts. Well, the third quarter started for Battlefield. Apparently, it didn't start for Langley. It was 20-2 in the third quarter.
Oh.
20, not 22, 20-2 in the third quarter. They went nuts, and when they started going, the Den started going crazy.
Yeah.
It just snowballed. I felt bad.
That purple and silver gray has grown on me over the years.
There's nothing wrong with that.
When I first saw it, there was nothing right with it.
Hey, there is nothing wrong with it.
There is. It's sharp. I like it.
It is, and let me tell you something. Shinari Street had 16 in the game. He had a couple, he had one that was ridiculous. He's, obviously we've seen him a lot before. He's really good. Braden Galt is great. But they got a couple other guys. Galt had 10. They had a couple other guys in this game, though. They got a dude named Julian Washington. Brandon Ingram, the dude that plays for the Lakers now?
Of course.
He has a little bit of him to him.
Right?
Yeah, man. He's got a little bit of him, but he's got like this awkward athleticism where he just like can contort his body in strange ways.
Yeah.
But he had one where Langley better have fouled him because he was about to yoke that thing. I mean, he was about to put it on somebody, but they fouled him. He still ends up making it against the M1. Has another one right off the baseline. He was right in front of me, just pump fakes and then goes around the dude and lays it in up on the other side. Really athletic dude. I think he's only a junior. That's going to be tough for people the next couple of years.
Langley basketball looking like these days.
It was tough going.
Yeah.
It was tough going. They had one dude, Battaglia, who had 10 points. But it was tough. I'm jaded by that third quarter. So there's not even a whole lot I can say about it. But there's another guy, Joe Davis, who plays for Battlefield. He only had 4 points in the game, but 2 of them were a dunk that just sent the crowd nuts. No, they just sent the crowd nuts.
You're not gonna do much. Make sure you do it pretty.
Yeah, man, and I'm gonna tell you what, those 2 guys, Julian Washington and Joe Davis, they just add something that we didn't really like. Obviously, last year with Colin Parker and
Stanford.
Yeah, man. That dude was, I don't even know what to say about him. He was 20 and 10 constantly.
Yeah.
But without those guys, it's a drop off But when you put two guys with athleticism like that in there, it just gives them a little bit different dimension than they had last year. Man, when you mix them with Shinari and Braden, it's a tough combo going. But they also they got dudes. They might be the tallest basketball team I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
They had a dude, Will Bounds.
I don't know where all these tall kids come from.
They ain't coming from my family, you know that.
They're definitely not coming from your family.
No.
Shout out to Blake Pagan.
Blake Pagan, thank you. I lost your name for a minute, man. I'm sorry. But that dude was ridiculous.
Yeah, he was.
But they had to be like 6 guys over 6'4" on that bench. It's outrageous. They didn't play much in the fourth because they were up by so much. I mean, they went on to win 67-33. But I'll tell you what, you get Julian Washington and Joe Davis along with Shinari Street and Braden Galt. You got something going, and then they bring this dude in. This dude, Will Bounds, I'd never seen him before. I don't know where he came from, but he's made a block in the first half that I saw. Then he comes down, makes a nice layup on the other side, hits a 3 at one point. Like, I don't know where they found this dude, but another tall guy.
Right.
Got guys just shooting threes from out of nowhere during that game. And, I mean, that Battlefield crowd went nuts. They were hitting the 3, the Battlefield crowd went nuts.
Den versus the Cavalry.
It'd be a good matchup.
It'll be good.
The Den gets hyped, though.
I won't even watch the basketball. Just
watch them?
Just watch the crowd. In the crowd, dude.
What's the spot right in the middle to check them out? But, they went on, 67-33. Once the 43-16 in the second half, and it wasn't that close.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that close. No disrespect to Langley, but, man, it just, once it started, it just snowballed.
Right.
But, man, get out and watch them. I'll tell you what, they might be 5-5 right now.
Yeah.
They're a top 10 team in the area.
For sure.
They had a tough schedule to start, but they ain't going to lose much moving forward.
Yeah.
Those guys, they're super talented, and they're going to be really good going down the stretch. Obviously, they're regional champions from last year. What are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, we're getting right into like the thick of basketball season. This is the most wonderful time of the year. Holiday tournaments.
Holiday tournaments.
Talk about some of the girls' tournaments we're going to be covering next week.
Oh, man, a big one. A couple of the teams like Herndon, I know, is playing in a Title IX tournament in D.C.
Right.
Oakton's out in Arizona. Battlefield's down in Orlando.
Yeah.
But there's this Rebel Round Ball Holiday Classic, obviously at Fairfax. Not a bad name.
Not a bad name.
But yeah, Robinson, Edison, Marshall, Chantilly, South County, Flint Hill, and Fairfax. It's like
I saw them play last year.
Hey man, they should call that the John Moore Invitational.
They should.
Oh man, Broad Run's in there too. That's going to be a really good tournament. I mean, everybody wants to go out and play for Coach Deegan's and Coach Deegan's tournament. But you also got the Parkview Holiday Tournament with Wakefield Parkview, and then they got a couple of out-of-state teams playing in that too. But Wakefield, got to see them play. They're another team I want to really see play.
For sure.
What about on the guys' side, John?
We got the Glory Days Grill Holiday Invitational. Glory Days made some good wings.
That's true.
Sponsorship. That's at Lake Braddock. We'll see Mills Godwin, never heard of them. Osborne, we know them. And then Champ, of course, and Fergala, Langley. Ooh, Champ opens up versus Langley. That'll be interesting.
Ain't going to go well for Langley.
Osborne Park, Hayfield. Love Hayfield.
Yeah.
McLean and Lake Braddock. And then we got the George Long Holiday Hoops Tournament at Wakefield. Glenelg Country. Have you ever heard of that school?
No. But I have heard of Wakefield. They're going to win that tournament.
Well, Stonewall Jackson's in there. Roosevelt, Chantilly, South County. WNL, Central Bucks, West Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Too many words for a high school.
You know what? WNL is almost too many words for a high school. But WNL's got a good squad.
Yeah?
Not as good as Wakefield. Those dudes are athletic as well.
Play each other.
Those dudes are good, man.
Watch out for
Amari Cooper.
Glenelg Country.
They got a dude, Alan Treacle, scored 41 last week. I'm telling you, Wakefield.
I did that before. I won't tell you in which format it was, but it happened.
I said 4D1.
I did.
Not 4 and 1. 4D1.
Fair enough. Some other games that took place this week?
Oh, man. Let me just say, Stonewall Jackson beat Freedom from Woodbridge 71-37. Megan Callahan, she had 32 and 5 in that game. She's great. Yeah, she's great. And Loudoun County beat Dominion 63-27. Natalie Villaflor, averaging 30 a game. She had 32 in that game. Loudoun County, watch out for them, man. They're going to be a tough out. On the guys' side, Annandale beat Edison 91-79. Annandale, they've dropped 90 a couple of times this year.
Annandale?
Yeah. They're scoring a lot.
Never a lack of talent out of that school.
No.
Been putting it together in recent years.
One of the big matchups that was kind of people were looking forward to was Tuscarora was going to Wakefield to play. It was 94-58. I'm telling you, Wakefield is good, man. They just got dudes. They had 4 people scoring double figures. 4 over 14. You do that, you're going to win a lot of games, man. Especially you got to do going 25. One guy 25. Khalil Parks had 25. Amari Cooper had 16. Alan Trico had 19. Eric Gisler had 14.
Balance.
Yeah, man. They're Wakefield.
We'll get there.
Definitely. They got to be. It's Potomac, Wakefield, Loudoun Valley. Top 3 teams in the area by far.
Well, Rob, next time we see everybody, it'll be 2017. So we want to thank everybody for tuning in this season on the show. You can see us Comcast Local, Channel 2 in Prince William County, 28 in Reston, South Lakes. I'm coming for you. For Rob Giampapa, I'm John Moore. We will see you next year.
What's the most you ever scored in the game? Whatever it is, I don't believe what you're going to say anymore.
High school or middle school?
In high school, man. I don't care what you scored in middle school.
I once scored 52 points in a middle school game.